Welcome back to Kayla's Contemplations, where I think today is going to be a day of y'all gonna learn about me today. Y'all's gonna learn about me today because I was given a beautiful piece of work today that it totally encompasses what I've been living the last few years that none of you would know about. And it says psychiatrists try to fix individuals so that they can be readjusted to society. But what if society itself is breeding mental illness? Then it's not individuals who need fixing, but the social conditions that mess them up in the first place. That is the life I've been living for the last few years now. I'm ahead of my time. I have a brilliant mind. I can think circles around people. I can understand problems at the core root of the issue instead of trying to deal with the symptoms and just mask the symptoms. No, instead, I deal with the problem. I deal with the core issue. So I'm usually 10 to 15 steps ahead of people and their consciousness when it comes to problem solving and pattern recognition and just the skills that I've acquired throughout the years. So what's happened, because I have developed all of these skills, because I've had to be a jack of all trades, master of some, you know, um, I have been working and I say this all the time, so maybe it's like a complex that I have, or it might be even a resentment. But I've been working since 12 years old. And so I've had a lot of jobs and I've earned a lot of skills and I've moved my way up quickly in places because people, once they actually get to know me, understand my genuine leadership skills. Um, it's also why people tend to not like me very much because they see my capabilities. So they'd rather suppress that in me than appreciate that in me. They would rather insult my intelligence and demean my character behind the scenes rather than actually use my skills and talents for their own freaking what's the word? Like progression in life, for their own benefit. We could have a mutual beneficiary experience here. Um so that's that's crazy making. Yeah, that's crazy making. What people have done a lot to me is made me feel like I'm crazy, and I'm not. I'm actually very sane. Now, I might be a little wibbly wobbly sometimes. I might be, I'm catching myself in my own lies, y'all. And the lie isn't that I'm not wibbly wobbly. The lie is like I don't want to discuss and put out there like how vulnerable I've had to be all these years by myself. But it's time. And I've overcome it. I've survived it, and I'm finally on a good trajectory and a good path in my life. Um, and I feel like my life is about to take an entire turn. We'll see what happens, but because authority figures, like not your just average, regular Joe Schmo on the streets, not my confidence. Like, it's been authority figures who were over me, who were supposed to mentor me, who were supposed to have my back in conflicts, who were supposed to protect their employees, who were supposed to use their employees' strengths to the company's benefit, or, whatever. Um, those people decided that they just really wanted to bring me down. That I think what it is while I don't have outer stability, aka neither did Jesus. I mean, I guess not aka, but like also neither did Jesus. Jesus never had a stable source of income. Jesus never had like he was a carpenter and he walked around he wandered around the world using the skills that he had, his natural skills and abilities that he had to put in work in places. So Jesus had to go work, y'all. Like, think about that. Jesus had to go work. Okay? He was a carpenter. That kind of skill takes time to build. Like, think about it. Like, we think of, like, when we think of Jesus, all we're thinking of is the dude that hung on the cross to save our sins. And as long as you can, like, believe that, with your words, you'll say it out loud, but like you don't wholeheartedly 5:55 on the clock. Like, it's time to change your lives, guys. You're not wholeheartedly taking it in who Jesus was and what he produced. Jesus was a skilled artisan. He was a craftsman. He used his hands to build things. He had to go work and able to support his ministry. But people look at me because I've had to work and provide for myself and take care of things for myself. So yeah, I'm not as far in life as other people. So freaking what? I'm also further in life than others. That was the nose rub there. I'm also like, let's not get it twisted. My rock bottom is still 60% ahead of some of y'all, and I say that humbly. I don't say that with arrogance. I say that because if I'm stuck at only being able to give 20% of myself, that's still 60 compared to some of y'all. And I'm just saying it because it's the truth. I'm not saying it with any condemnation. I'm not saying it with any like ill will. But there's been plenty of y'all that's been willing to sit there and have conversations about me and me not be able to defend myself. So here I am. And the lie there is that I want you to be able to defend yourself. I want you to be able to talk to me. I want you to be able to, I want us to get along. I want us to be okay. But that's up to you. That ain't up to me. I ain't did nothing to you. Now, I might talk about what you done did, but I ain't done nothing to you. In the comments below, anyone who I've done something to, put it down there. Or if you know I've done something to somebody, put it down there. Let's talk about it. Because also, sometimes maybe I have done something and no one's talked to me about it. Because anyone who's ever talked to me about anything, who has come up to me and wanted and said that I've hurt their feelings or that I've, done something, I've been like, oh my God, I absolutely did not mean to have that impact on you. I'm so sorry. And I can act accordingly with that person, and that applies to everybody. I can understand what you need, and I can give that to you. More than happy to. But if you don't talk to me about it, how can I do anything? So I've had to live my life trying to deal with, because I ain't trying to live up to, but I've been trying to deal with other people's expectations of me that they don't tell me about. They feel some type of way about me, and instead of ever giving me the chance to let's talk it out, they just go and they run to the next person and complain about me, talk shish behind my back, and leave me out here alone and isolated in a very dangerous position. People don't understand how dangerous my life is. Up until I moved to where I live now and I actually have a roommate, I lived alone for 11 years. And I had to realize one day, and it was a tough realization, that if I were to die in that apartment, no one would know. No one would know for days. Think about that. Think about how many people call you every day to check on you, or how many people you check in with on a daily basis. And if you were to disappear, how those people would be like, wow, where's such and such? Where is this person? I haven't heard from them in at least 2 days, and that's not normal. Has anybody rode by their house? Has anybody heard from them? And if nobody's heard from you, there's going to be someone who comes looking. Most people don't talk to me on a regular basis. Not because I don't want to talk to people either. They just feel some type of way about me. And I think it's my inner stability. I don't have outer stability, but I have inner stability. Sometimes it doesn't always show through because sometimes I do get nervous. I have anxiety. I mean, how could I not? When you've got whole companies against you, individuals and grouped up, when you've got like entire sets of people where you got to stand as a one-man band and prevail. So the reason why I brought this meme up, or this little paragraph, this sentence, I have PTSD. 11:11 on the clock. I have PTSD. I don't have a mental illness like someone, I don't have a chemical imbalance in my brain that is doing this, doing that, whatever, whatever. I have lived with people on purpose attacking me, people on purpose just deciding to be against me when I've done nothing to them. And I mean that, y'all. I'm not out here doing nothing. I pay attention to me. I'm not out here doing nothing to nobody. I don't talk junk about people. Now, I might talk about what you're actually doing, but I ain't out here making up stuff on you. I'm not out here demeaning your character or insulting your intelligence. There was a time in my life, and I'm a therapist. I've been a therapist for over 10 years now. And I, as a therapist, had an extraordinarily hard time finding a therapist when I was at my lowest. When I did find a therapist in Robeson County, it was at an agency, and I went in there as an emergency crisis person. I was ready to die, y'all. There have been many times I've lived this journey suicidal. And I don't say that from a place of weakness, because it wasn't like I wanted to die. It was, I didn't want to live this life anymore. There's a big difference. And most people, when you're going through it, don't know that there's a difference between wanting to die and harm yourself and hurt and give yourself pain versus not wanting to live this life anymore. And I think a lot more people are in, I don't want to live this life anymore, versus actually wanting to die. And so there are life changes that need to be made. And once those life changes are made, life changes. And that's the gift that I figured out in all of this, is that life changes. And nothing stays the same. And you roll with the punches, and you go from one job to the next, and you pay your bills, and you go from one house to the next, and you do what needs to get done. And when I went to these therapists and I told them that I wanted to die, or I didn't want to live anymore, I didn't want to live this life anymore, then it took us over a month, meeting weekly, I'm 3 appointments in a month from the day that I, was ready to just, end it all, to a month before we ever even got to talking about what was going on, because of the way the therapist set up the sessions. Y'all, when I tell you there ain't no help in Robinson, there's no real genuine help, because even the other agencies who are owned by individuals, they're so screwed up themselves, y'all. They're traumatized. They've got their own mental illness, and they're out here trying to counsel people. There's no trauma-informed like real trauma informed counseling. Like I've attended meetings with the hospital, with the tribe, with the police department, with RHCC, with key stakeholders meetings, and to assess the problem in Robeson County. One of the problems is that they're only using social work. They got that whole counseling department at UNCP where they could create specialties and certificates and say, what's needed in this area? Let's produce those graduates. But they're not. They only want to stick to social workers. And I am not saying nothing about social workers except except for they're the ones in the trenches. They're the ones who are going into the homes and having to deal with the worst of the worst types of situations, and they put themselves in danger every day. That's not the same as counseling. And I think that the way social workers are dealt with in the community and handled in the way that they have to do, they're not even able to do their jobs efficiently, and they don't have any type of clinical practice coming out of school. So I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like it. And I don't know all the answers and I don't know all the details, but I do know a lot of nuance. And I don't like it. I don't like the way social workers being utilized in Robeson County. I don't think it's efficient, effective, or helping anyone. And that might be me being too judgmental, but that's just because when I went into the situation, I was helped by social workers, and they did nothing for me. They made my situations worse. Yeah, they just, mm-mm. So when I tell you I've been through the trenches, I've been through the worst of the worst, I've been through my Job season, I've been abandoned by everyone, and they all told me it was my fault. And I'm not saying I didn't do stuff. I'm not saying that I didn't have things that I had to repent for, that I had things that I had to face, that I had demons of my own that I had to face. But I also got thrown demons my way. Demons that weren't mine to deal with. I've also fought for the ancestors. I've also fought for the lineage. I've also fought for the future of our tribe, our society, our culture. I have had to tell chairmans of boards of what was that board? County commissioners. Thank you. I've had to tell the chairman of the county commissioners of a certain county to tell the cops to leave us alone and give us the opportunity to show that we're good people. To give us the benefit of the doubt that once they meet us, we might be good people. I've had to literally fight on that level. I've had to put my pride aside, and I've had to have really hard conversations for the well-being of all that didn't have nothing to do with me. I've fought for people who fought against me. I've prayed for people who have prayed against me. I don't want this video to get too long, but I just wanted to say I'm not the problem. I never have been. I was the solution that people didn't want to see, that they didn't want to give a chance, because nobody wants to give a chance to the very smart girl who is a nobody, who don't make or break a fuck. And yes, I did say it. Nobody wants to think that a young pretty woman, which is crazy to me because I grew up the ugly duckling, y'all. I was people who from high school, middle school, I got picked on, called lip. People called me lip because when I smile, my top lip disappears. Like I've had to learn how to smile. So see, it does. It's gone. It's gone. Right? It's a lip. It was a thing. I barely dated people. People don't talk to me. And I just don't know what to tell y'all anymore. Like, I don't know what to tell y'all in regards to me. Besides, I think you just need to figure it out. I think you just need to accept me for who I am. Understand that I'm not against you. Understand that I probably don't really think about you. Understand that I'm not relevant to any of your lives. And so if you could just make me that way, that would be great. If y'all could just make me irrelevant, that would be great. My life would be a lot easier if y'all would just make me irrelevant, because you're all irrelevant to me. Okay? Love you, mean it. And I mean that. Love you, mean it. But you're irrelevant to me. And you're going to stay that way. So I hope I can become irrelevant to you. I mean, I guess that's a little bit of a lie, because there are some people who I would like to be relevant to, but I guess that's another story for another day. Much love. Well, if I can turn the camera off. Okay, we're signing off now.